Ashley Reeves was a 17-year-old from a small village called Millstadt in Illinois. She was a promising basketball player, popular with her peers, and had a boyfriend named Jeremy. On Thursday the 27th of April 2006, Ashley spoke with her parents and she told them that she had a job interview in Fairview Heights and that after this interview, she would be going to play basketball with some of her friends. Ashley had a curfew set by her parents. She would have to be home no later than 10 p.m. So on this day at 3:30, Ashley borrowed her boyfriend's car and made her way to this interview. 10 p.m. soon rolled around and there was no sign of Ashley, which was rather unusual. If she was going to be late home, she would at least have called or messaged her parents to let them know where she was. So her parents made several attempts to contact her, but she never responded. In the hour following the curfew time, Ashley had still not replied to any of her messages or calls. Her parents messaged some of Ashley's friends and they too had gotten no response from her either. Ashley's parents began to panic. They knew that something had to be seriously wrong. That night, they made a call to the police to report Ashley missing. The police often receive calls from worried parents reporting their missing children, but more often than not, these cases tend to be just rebellious teenagers pushing boundaries and staying out a little later than usual. But the officer who took the call noted that Ashley's parents sounded incredibly distressed. The police felt as though they needed to investigate this case immediately, and so they went to work right away and a search to find Ashley began. A friend of Ashley's told the police that Ashley was friends with a 27-year-old man named Samson Shelton. Sam was a PE schoolteacher and a professional wrestler who went by the name The Teacher. Sam had also been Ashley's teacher in 2001 when she was in the 7th grade, and they had just recently met again and became friends in February of 2006, 2 months before she went missing. Ashley's friend also said that despite Ashley having a boyfriend, she and Sam had been intimate at one point. After learning this, Sam became a person of interest. Because Ashley's phone was registered in her mother's name, her mother was able to call the mobile phone network provider and get the data on who she was calling in the days before she disappeared. There was one number that seemed to stand out. The number belonged to Sam Shelton. Ashley's mother called the number and Sam picked up the phone. She asked him if he had seen Ashley recently. Sam said no and swiftly hung up the phone. Hours had passed with still no word from Ashley, and then the police discovered Ashley's boyfriend's car abandoned around 20 minutes away from where she lived. Inside the car, they found the clothing Ashley would have worn to play basketball. Where the car was found was not too far away from where Sam lived. On the 28th of April, Ashley's boyfriend Jeremy was brought in for questioning. Ashley was a 22-year-old man, and he and Ashley had been dating for 2 years. Jeremy told the detectives that he had no idea where Ashley could be and that he was out of town around the time when she disappeared. Investigators asked if he would be willing to take a polygraph test if asked to which Jeremy said he would. The detectives asked if Ashley was suffering from any kind of depression lately that could explain her disappearance. Jeremy told them that to the best of his knowledge, Ashley was in a good mental space. They also asked if Sam the teacher could have had anything to do with her disappearance. Jeremy said that he was friends with Sam and couldn't see Sam being in any way responsible for her disappearance. But Jeremy also had no idea that Sam and Ashley had been intimate during their relationship. The police were fairly certain that Jeremy had no part in Ashley's disappearance. He cooperated with the police and seemed to be genuinely concerned for her well-being. Detectives now turned their attention to Sam. Later on, during the 28th, detectives went to the high school where Sam worked and asked him if he would be able to answer some questions regarding the disappearance. From statements gathered from Ashley's friends, the police knew that he and Ashley had been intimate, so the police asked Sam about their friendship. Sam said that he was friends with Ashley and confirmed that the two would meet and play basketball together and that their friendship was non-physical. The police then read out the statements from Ashley's friends, which of course went against what Sam was saying. Sam instantly changed his story. Sam admitted that he had been intimate with Ashley and that Ashley had developed an unhealthy obsession with him. He claimed that she would constantly call him and message him and that he had been trying to distance himself from her. But he also told the detectives that he was with Ashley on the day that she went missing. Sam claimed that while the two were together on the 27th, they had gotten into a heated exchange. Feeling frustrated, Sam said he stopped the car, grabbed Ashley, pulled her out from the car and then drove away, later on going to a country bar to dance. He said that this was the last time he had seen her, or so he claimed. But if this was true, why didn't he speak to the police sooner or tell Ashley's mother when she called him? Why did he lie and then change his story? Surely if they were friends, he should have at least cared about her enough to help in the search for Ashley. Detectives believed there was more to this story than Sam was letting on. Sam said he didn't check on Ashley because if she had been hit by a car and was laying in a ditch, he wouldn't have been able to stand seeing something like that. He then said, "I have an absolute fear, I have a very weak stomach, and when it comes to, like, gore movies, I can't even watch those." And then strangely, Sam asked the investigator if he has seen the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Sam's story would then change again when a new investigator began to ask Sam some questions. He said to Sam, "If I left from here and I went and talked to Grandma right now and I laid out this whole story what you're saying, what would your grandma say?" For some reason, this question seems to noticeably get to Sam and he begins to show signs of distress and cries. Sam then gives a chilling account of exactly what happened that night. Sam had indeed pulled Ashley out of his car, but that wasn't all he had done. Ashley had refused to get out of his car, so Sam put Ashley into a chokehold as he dragged her from his car. In the rage, Sam tightened his grip. Then he heard what he described as a popping sound. He had snapped Ashley's neck. After hearing this popping sound, Ashley's body went limp and she started gurgling. It was in this moment that Sam claimed to have panicked and dragged Ashley into the woods of Citizens Park. Once deep inside the forest, Sam began to strangle Ashley with his hands. But this didn't have the desired result, so he took off his belt and wrapped it around Ashley's neck and began to choke her. As he did this, he put his foot on Ashley's back for leverage and choked her as hard as he physically could. So hard in fact that his belt actually snapped. Sam said, "I took the belt and I pulled it on her neck and I don't know how long I held on for. I had to turn my head because I didn't want to see." Once the belt snapped, Sam said he resorted back to using his hands. Once he was satisfied that she would not survive, he left the scene and went to the country bar to dance. At the time of the confession, 30 hours had passed since this horrific attack occurred. Sam told the investigators that he would take them to her body. During the dark and rainy night on the 28th, Sam led them to Ashley's body through the woods. After briefly becoming confused in the dark as to the precise location of her body, Sam and the investigators eventually found Ashley. They found her laying on her back, covered in insect bites, with marks around her neck. To much of the investigators' surprise, as they knelt down to put their hands on her pulse to confirm she had passed, they saw Ashley's chest rise. She was alive. The investigators called for the medics to come immediately in the hope that it wasn't too late yet. Ashley had been laying alone in the freezing cold for over 30 hours. She was rushed to hospital and placed into intensive care. Ahead of her was a long road to recovery. Sam was arrested and charged with attempted murder. Despite the brutal nature of the crime, Sam was released on bail and was allowed to be placed on house arrest for a year before the trial would begin. Before the trial date arrived, Sam attempted to take his own life by consuming a large quantity of pills. Sam lived with his mother and grandmother, so they called the emergency services when they discovered him unconscious. The paramedics arrived at the scene, and as they did, Sam regained consciousness and began to attack them. Because of the pills he had consumed, he was still in need of medical attention and so was taken to hospital. Once there, he made derogatory comments towards members of staff and even kicked a nurse in the face after making racial slurs. The self-proclaimed good-natured man whose stomach was too weak to watch horror movies had attempted to kill a 17-year-old, attacked medics who had tried to revive him, and made racial slurs towards the hospital staff before spitting at them and kicking one in the face. In 2007, Ashley's family and the district attorney offered a plea deal to Sam, to which he accepted. He was found guilty of attempted first-degree murder and sentenced to 20 years. His parole is due for the 22nd of April, 2027. Following the attack, Ashley was placed into a medically induced coma. The doctors were greatly concerned. It seemed very likely that Ashley would be paralysed due to her injuries. But it would turn out that she was tougher than the doctors had anticipated. Ashley was able to make a recovery. Due to suffering a broken neck, she had to relearn how to walk, eat, drink, and talk. And due to the trauma and injuries she had sustained, Ashley had no memory of the attack, which is probably a good thing. Although Ashley has trouble remembering things around the time of the attack, Ashley remembers that she was planning on breaking things off with Sam. So it's theorized that she had ended their secret relationship in the car, and that this is what made Sam furious and attack Ashley. Ashley was able to finish school, and as of now, she has 2 children and has been able to move forward with her life.